Fancy intro music, yeah! Woo!
I want y'all to know that it's currently 2 in the morning, but I had to put this together because this must be discussed. The hints the team is dropping, this would technically be the second official hint, with the first one being on DJ's podcast, which if you're not, and how could you not be following the content creators? Well, you probably should be. We got binary, which means we require nerds to translate this for all the non-nerds out there. Luckily for us, I was able to get a hold of one, aka me. Hey everybody. So if you don't know how binary works, it's a simple 0-1 system used to basically do every form of computing that we currently have, because we've not unlocked quantum computing. Maybe one day, who knows? Elon Musk makes flamethrowers, maybe he can make official quantum computing. So what we have here is this actually spells out some things, and I want to talk about how this might tie into episodes of a certain series, how this might tie into the idea of what DJ says. And as DJ said on the podcast a few days ago, they have kept this very close to the vest. Like even me, who is the king of leaks, has only gotten paquito amount of information. I'm sitting here going, come on, tell me, I need more, give me more, and I haven't gotten more. So let's start with what we do know. If you take this right here, 011000001, that would be the letter A. 0110011, that'd be the letter C. And before boring you with the entirety of that, let's just bring out this bad boy. Here they are all typed out. Access denied is what it's translating to right here. Access denied in a combat tree of research. Now, real quick, if you did miss DJ's episode, because I know there's some people who are like, why do I have to come to content creators to get all the information I need for the game? Because that's what makes the game grow, okay? Just suck it up, join the community, make sweet, passionate hugs with each other, and live with it. But anyway, the hint from DJ that was given to him by Scopely was, to a new building we must go to learn and study to make us bright. For as all things we eventually know, improve our game abilities beyond our current might. There's several things going on in there, and we're going to come back to it, but I want to talk about what the first thing that came to my mind when we had binary. Now, what I'm about to say is complete conjecture. Who knows if it's actually real? I even had some fans who are super Trekkie nerds point this out as well. Now, if you go back to season 1 of Star Trek: The Next Generation, you'll find episode 14 is in fact an episode entitled, you guessed it, a binary number 11001001. Now, why is it entitled this random binary combination? Because it was a race of beings called the Binar who worked in pairs, who spoke with the language that was binary. They were completely connected to their world's home computer, and they essentially become like a discount double check Borg. Like they were still fully organic. They hadn't gotten all the fancy algorithms and the fancy add-ons to become cybernetic beings. They were still, you know, bipedal organisms that didn't rely on technology, but they had evolved to a point where they relied so heavily on machinery that it became their language and their culture. So I thought that was a cool aspect. Now, the premise of this episode is, one, we had to have a Riker love interest, which shout out to Minuet, which if you haven't seen Minuet, she'll be up here on the screen here in just a second. For those who don't know, Minuet as a name choice was a perfectly chosen name, because a minuet is a social dance of French origin for two people, usually in 3/4 time. If you also do a study about minuet and what it means, it's an actual measure in music. Now take a look at some of these songs that they're playing in the holodeck while they're trying to get Riker distracted. Falls in line with the idea of what we have with minuet. So lots of little Easter eggs in this episode. that you have to pay attention to. And the Bynarr have designed Minuet to stall Riker because they want to capture the ship. They want to capture the Enterprise and take it on an away mission to save their world against the will of the crew. But of course, it's Star Trek in season 1, so it all ends up working out perfectly. Everybody's saved, kumbaya, hugs and kisses all around, and Worf went to go like decapitate somebody in a battle of Parcheesi, you know, or it's just because that's just what Worf does in season 1. He acts really, really tough, but we don't get to actually see tough Worf on the screen, which is kind of depressing if we're just being a little bit honest with you, but okay, whatever. I'd also like to point out that there was a friendly Scopy support ticket put in today when somebody mentioned the binary, and they said, hey, we all understand what's going on. We're all trying to understand what's going on, but I highly recommend keeping an eye out for the Discord channel. Judging by the numbers shown, it seems to be in binary. This is indeed quite odd. ... Now, what could this mean? One of the things that comes to mind is, if you remember in the DJ hint, they talked about a new building. Now, if you remember a few weeks ago, probably a couple months ago, we had a couple of the devs who were live on stream with us talking about things like away missions and the timetable for that coming into the game. And we've talked about how the next generation and away missions literally go hand in hand. When you think away missions, you typically think the next generation, because that was such a big staple of that part of the franchise. And of course, that was part of the original series. Now, I cannot guarantee that all this translates to the next generation being the next arc. I do think that we're heading on that trajectory, but you don't know. But I will say we've already known for a fact we're getting a new building. We already see that the combat tree is probably going to get some new things added to it. And my first thought with what could we add to the combat tree? Things to do with officers and away missions, going out and completing those. And it could be pretty unique to have a holodeck version of away missions to do some form of that. Maybe have the Bynarr actually become race in the game that runs this system. I don't know. Maybe it's Section 31. There's lots of questions here, but it is curious that there is an episode that starts off the next generation with this as a premise, running through binary and using that as a staple to Star Trek, that then getting tied into some of the things that we already knew was coming. We knew away missions were coming, but we simply had no date of when. This seems to hint us along that same path. This says that we need to go and learn and study to make us bright. Well, let's just put it this way. The Bynarr were incredibly bright society, so a point to where they were able to actually evolve as a society with their technology, which is pretty incredible. I mean, it's something that we talk about our own humanity getting to at some point and potentially getting to one day. Maybe we'll be like the Asgard in Stargate. Leaving the series there for a second. Let's move on to the second part of DJ's hint. For as all things we eventually know improve our game abilities beyond our current might. Now, as you know, when we've had devs discuss this before, when it came to away missions, if that is indeed what is coming, one of my favorite quotes was they were going to make Star Trek timelines and that style of away missions obsolete. To where if that was your favorite thing about timelines, you would leave it to come play Star Trek Fleet Command's version. And that is some really big and bold statements to be made. And I'm pretty sure that the Star Trek team is not happy about a random dev saying that. But I've got screenshots. They did say it. I'm not talking out my booty hole. It's just, they were excited, I guess. But if this is what is coming to the game, if that is the case, and I don't know, this is all conjecture here, but it would line up with what we see on screen, and it would line up with what we've seen paired with the next generation as a franchise. And we know that they seem to be going in an order, where if you look at Discovery is kind of the starting point for the original series, and then the next generation, and then maybe DS9 and Voyager. We'll see how Enterprise ends up working out, but with Enterprise being a disappointment for a lot of people, maybe they just decided to skip it for now and come back to it at a later point. But either way, I'm excited, knowing I'm getting a new form of building, knowing I'm potentially getting a lot more research, and maybe a new mechanic gets me really curious. And because this video is nothing but conjecture and rumors and spoilers, because some of this is real hints and some of these things are coming true and some of these are just Rev talking to confuse you about what may or may not be known. And who am I trying to confuse? Well, you know who you are. Hope you enjoyed the video, everybody. Live long and prosper. Stay safe with the Space Cowboys. Click that like button. Enjoy this on your Saturday morning, and may the rockets flow through you, and may it storm through your Discord, your Facebook, your Reddits, and every form of social media, as this channel has come to bring forth the rumors and the drama and the intrigue. Which is why we're here. And I love you. Catch you on the next one, Space Cowboys. Oh, yeah.
I would like to request to Scopely to add more Klingons to the game. That is what I was told to do, and so I am doing it. Which, you know, is not maybe the best thing as a leader to just do what you're told, but it seems like a good request to make, to add more Klingons. Everything is better with Klingons, am I right? I am right, because I'm a Klingon. Klingon mach tach judge! We are Klingons. Let it remain. All right, Laurel's on a roll today. She's very excited.
An even better outro than the intro. Yeah! Woo!